All right, so get this. We're talking AI and cows.
Cows.
You know those cow burps
Yep.
that we all know and love?
Hmm.
Well, those might be getting a little more climate friendly thanks to AI.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you might be surprised to hear that cows are actually a major source of methane,
Right.
which is a potent greenhouse gas.
Yeah.
And so we're diving into a new study from the USDA in Iowa State.
Okay.
It was published in Animal Frontiers
Interesting.
to understand how AI is changing the game when it comes to tackling this problem of cow burps.
Wow. It really is fascinating how something as seemingly simple as a cow burp
I know, right?
can have such a significant impact on our climate.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
So to understand the role of AI, let's start with why those cow burps are such a problem
Sure.
in the first place.
So cows have this special stomach compartment called the rumen,
Okay.
and it's where microorganisms help them digest tough plant material.
Mm-hmm.
And this process is called enteric fermentation.
Right.
And it produces methane
Yeah.
as a byproduct, which gets released when they burp.
So it's like a massive internal composting operation going on.
Exactly.
But instead of creating fertilizer,
Yeah.
it creates methane.
Right.
So how much are we talking here?
We're talking a significant amount. Think about it this way.
Okay.
Those burps from cows account for 3% of all greenhouse gas emissions in the U.S.
Wow, that's a lot more than I would have guessed.
Yeah.
So what are researchers doing to address this? I know there was some buzz a while back about using seaweed as a solution.
Right.
What happened with that?
So seaweed contains a compound called bromoform,
Okay.
and it was shown to dramatically reduce methane emissions.
Wow.
We're talking reductions of 80 to 98% in some studies.
Really?
Yeah. But it turns out that bromoform is also a carcinogen.
Oh, no.
So not exactly something we want to be feeding to animals in our food supply.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so seaweed is a no-go.
Right.
Where does AI fit into all of this?
Well, while seaweed itself isn't the answer, it pointed researchers in the right direction.
Okay.
Scientists realized they needed to find a molecule that acted like bromoform
Right.
without the harmful side effects.
Yeah,
And that's a massive undertaking.
I can imagine.
And that's where AI comes in.
Okay.
It can help speed up the search for these alternative molecules.
So how exactly is AI being used to find these bromoform alternatives?
Yeah.
Are we talking robot farmers testing out different feeds?
No, not quite.
Okay.
It's all about data analysis and predictive modeling.
Mm-hmm.
Scientists build large computational models of the cow's rumen
Right.
and use AI to simulate how different molecules would interact in that environment.
Okay.
Essentially, it's like running thousands of virtual lab experiments
Wow.
without having to actually test every single molecule on a real cow.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it's not replacing the scientists, but
Yeah,
rather giving them a powerful tool to help them narrow down their search.
Exactly.
What have they found so far using this approach?
Well, they've identified 15 molecules that look especially promising.
Really?
Yeah. And they found that these molecules cluster together
Okay.
in what they call a functional methanogenesis inhibition space.
Okay, break that down for me a little.
Sure.
What are these key properties and why are they so important?
So it all comes down to how these molecules interact with the microorganisms in the cow's rumen.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it like a lock and key.
Okay.
The molecules need to be able to fit into specific enzymes
Right.
that are involved in methane production.
Okay.
And this fit disrupts the enzyme's ability to create methane,
Gotcha.
effectively putting a stop to the process.
Interesting.
And these 15 molecules seem to have the right shape
Okay.
and chemical properties to do just that.
Great.
But of course, more research is needed to confirm this.
So these 15 molecules are like potential keys that could unlock a solution to this methane puzzle.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But how do they know these molecules won't have the same harmful effects as bromoform?
Right. Well, that's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And that's where further testing comes in.
Mm-hmm.
The AI models can help predict potential toxicity based on the molecule's structure and properties.
Okay.
However, lab and animal studies will ultimately be needed
Yeah.
to confirm whether these molecules are both effective and safe.
It sounds like this is a very promising avenue of research.
It is.
But before we get too deep into the AI side of things,
Sure.
I'd love to get your take on how this research fits into the larger picture of
Sure.
reducing agricultural emissions.
Okay.
Are there other strategies being explored besides this focus on methane-inhibiting molecules?
Absolutely. There's a lot of exciting work being done to make agriculture more sustainable.
Okay.
Some researchers are focusing on improving feed efficiency.
Okay.
So the idea is that if cows can extract more nutrients from their food,
Mm-hmm.
they'll produce less methane as a byproduct. It's like their bodies are wasting energy on these methane burps. And if we can redirect that energy, it could make them healthier and more productive.
Makes sense.
There are also groups working on developing methane capturing technologies,
Oh, wow.
sort of like catalytic converters for cows.
Interesting.
And then there's the whole area of dietary modifications,
Okay.
looking at things like adding seaweed or other natural supplements to cow feed
Right.
to influence the microbial balance in their rumen and reduce methane production.
So it sounds like a multi-pronged approach is needed to really make a dent in these emissions.
Yeah, definitely.
It's amazing to think that something as seemingly simple as a cow's diet
I know.
could play such a major role in addressing climate change.
It really highlights the interconnectedness of everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
What we feed our livestock has implications that extend far beyond the farm.
It really does. Now, before we move on,
Okay.
I noticed the study also included a cost breakdown of the research process.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that included?
That's a really smart move on the researchers' part because it provides valuable information for decision makers.
Okay.
By showing the cost effectiveness of using AI for this type of research,
Yeah.
it makes a strong case for investing in this approach.
Right.
It's not just scientifically promising, it's also economically viable.
So it's not just good science.
Yeah,
It's good business, too.
exactly.
I like that. But what stood out to you in this research? What really piqued your interest?
What I find particularly fascinating is the iterative nature of this research.
Okay.
It's not just about building an AI model and letting it run.
Right.
The researchers are constantly refining the model based on lab results,
Okay.
creating this feedback loop where the AI learns and improves its predictions over time.
Gotcha.
This type of machine learning is incredibly powerful because it allows the AI to become more accurate and efficient with each iteration.
It's like the AI is becoming a better scientist with each experiment.
Exactly.
That's a really cool insight. All right, I think we've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
but I want to make sure we're giving you the full picture.
Yeah.
We've talked about the potential benefits,
Right.
but what about the other side of the coin? Are there any potential downsides or concerns we should be considering?
That's a really important question.
Mhm.
And it's one we'll explore in more depth after a quick break.
Sounds good.
We need to make sure that any solutions we develop are not only effective,
Yeah,
but also ethical and sustainable in the long run.
great point. Let's take that break now, and we'll be back in a moment.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we've talked about how promising this research is, but as with any new technology,
Right.
there are always potential downsides to consider.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things we need to be mindful of as this research moves forward?
One of the biggest concerns is the potential impact on the cows themselves.
Right.
After all, we're talking about altering their biology
Yeah.
in a pretty significant way.
That's a good point. It's not just about reducing emissions. It's about making sure we're not harming the animals in the process.
Exactly.
So how do we know if these methane-reducing interventions are actually good for the cows?
Well, that's a question that researchers are actively investigating.
Okay.
Some believe that reducing methane production could actually benefit the cows.
Really?
Yeah, by freeing up energy that they could then use for growth or milk production.
Interesting.
It's like their bodies are wasting energy on these methane burps.
Right.
And if we can redirect that energy,
Yeah.
it could make them healthier and more productive.
That makes sense. But are there any researchers who think this could be harmful to the cows?
Yeah, there are concerns that interfering with the cow's complex digestive system
Okay.
could have unintended consequences.
Right.
The rumen is a delicate ecosystem,
Yeah.
and we need to be very careful that we're not disrupting its natural balance.
Mm-hmm.
Some worry that these interventions could lead to digestive issues
Okay.
or other health problems for the cows.
So it sounds like more research is needed to determine the long-term effects on cow health and well-being.
Right.
What else should we be considering?
Another important factor is the potential impact on small-scale farmers,
Okay.
particularly in developing countries.
Right.
Livestock plays a crucial role in their livelihoods and food security.
Yeah.
So we need to ensure that any new technologies we develop
Mm-hmm.
are accessible and affordable for everyone,
Right.
not just large industrial farms.
That's a crucial point. We don't want to create a situation where only the wealthy can afford to implement these solutions
Exactly.
and further widening the gap between rich and poor.
Right.
So how do we make sure that these technologies benefit everyone?
Well, it's all about making sure that small-scale farmers are involved in the conversation from the beginning.
Okay.
We need to understand their needs and challenges
Mm-hmm.
and ensure that any solutions we develop are appropriate for their context.
Right.
It's also important to consider the cost of implementing these technologies
Yeah.
and to explore ways to make them more affordable and accessible to those who need them most.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not enough to just develop the technology.
Right.
We also need to think about how it will be used and
Yep.
who will benefit from it.
Exactly.
Now, shifting gears a little bit,
Sure.
I'm curious to get your thoughts on the use of AI in this research more broadly.
Okay.
Some people might be hesitant about relying so heavily on artificial intelligence,
Right.
especially when dealing with something as complex as biology.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's understandable that people might have some reservations.
Yeah.
AI is a powerful tool,
Right.
but it's important to remember that it's just a tool. It's not a magic bullet,
Mm-hmm.
and it's certainly not a replacement for human expertise.
So it's not about replacing scientists,
Okay.
but rather giving them a new tool to help them do their work more effectively.
Exactly.
In this particular study, I think AI is being used in a very responsible way.
Yeah, I agree.
It's being used to accelerate the research process,
Right.
to analyze vast amounts of data
Mm.
and identify promising leads that scientists can then investigate further.
Yeah,
The AI is essentially acting as a research assistant,
exactly.
helping scientists to ask better questions and make more informed decisions.
Right.
That's a great way to think about it.
Yeah.
It's about finding that sweet spot where human intelligence and artificial intelligence can work together synergistically.
I like that.
Now, this research is focused specifically on reducing methane emissions from cows.
Right.
But what about other livestock animals? Could this AI approach be applied to other species as well?
That's a great question, and the answer is yes.
Okay.
While this study focused on cows,
Hmm.
the underlying principles and the AI methodologies could be adapted to other ruminant animals,
Okay.
such as sheep and goats,
Right.
which also produce significant amounts of methane.
Gotcha.
The key is to understand the specific digestive processes of each species
Yeah.
and to tailor the AI models accordingly.
So it's not just about cows.
Right.
It's about tackling methane emissions from all livestock sources.
Exactly.
And this could have a global impact, right?
Absolutely. Livestock production is a global industry.
Yeah.
And if we can find ways to reduce emissions from all these animals,
Right.
it could make a significant contribution to global efforts to mitigate climate change.
That's pretty amazing. It seems like we're on the cusp of a major breakthrough in sustainable agriculture.
Yeah, it really is.
And AI is playing a key role.
A key role.
But I know you always like to keep things balanced.
I do.
Are there any potential downsides or limitations to using AI in this way?
One potential challenge is the need for large data sets to train the AI models.
Okay.
You know, the more data we have, the more accurate and reliable the models will be.
Yeah.
But gathering this data can be time-consuming and expensive.
Right.
There's also the risk of bias in the data,
Mm-hmm.
which could lead to biased outcomes.
Oh, yeah.
So it's important to be mindful of the data we're using and to make sure it's representative and accurate.
That's a really good point. Data quality is essential for any AI application.
Absolutely.
And we need to be careful that we're not inadvertently perpetuating existing biases or inequalities.
Yeah, I agree.
So it sounds like we need to proceed with both enthusiasm and caution,
Yes,
carefully considering the potential benefits and risks as we move forward.
exactly. It's all about finding that balance between pushing the boundaries of innovation
Right?
and being responsible stewards of this technology.
Mm-hmm.
We have a remarkable opportunity to use AI to create a more sustainable future
Yeah.
for both people and the planet.
Absolutely.
But we need to do it in a thoughtful and ethical way.
Well said. It's been a fascinating deep dive so far.
It has.
And I think you've given our listeners a lot to think about.
Yeah, I hope so.
But before we say goodbye,
Here.
I'm curious to know what you find most exciting about this research.
Okay.
And what you see as the biggest potential for AI in shaping the future of sustainable agriculture.
Well, what excites me most is the potential to use AI to tackle complex challenges
Okay.
that have long plagued the agricultural industry.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about problems like reducing greenhouse gas emissions,
Mm-hmm.
improving animal welfare,
Yeah.
enhancing food security,
Yeah.
and making agriculture more resilient to climate change.
Okay.
These are massive interconnected challenges,
Yeah.
and AI gives us a powerful tool to address them in a holistic and integrated way.
It's almost like AI is giving us a new lens through which to view these challenges,
course.
allowing us to see connections and possibilities that we might have missed before.
I agree.
And the potential applications seem almost limitless.
They really do imagine a future where AI helps us to optimize every aspect of the food production system,
Wow.
from the farm to the table.
Okay.
We could have AI-powered systems that monitor crop health,
Right.
predict weather patterns,
Hmm.
optimize irrigation,
Yeah.
manage livestock, and even personalize our diets based on our individual nutritional needs and preferences.
That sounds like something straight out of a science fiction novel.
I know, right?
But it's incredible to think that these possibilities are within reach.
It's an exciting time to be working in this field.
It is.
I truly believe that AI has the potential to revolutionize agriculture and help us create a more sustainable and equitable food system for everyone.
That's a powerful and inspiring vision.
Yeah.
I think we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
And I know you've given our listeners a lot to think about.
I hope so.
But before we say goodbye,
Sure.
is there anything else you'd like to add? Any final thoughts or insights you'd like to share? It sounds like we're on the verge of a real paradigm shift in agriculture.
It does, doesn't it?
And it's incredible to think that AI is playing such a pivotal role in this transformation.
Yeah.
But as we wrap up our deep dive today,
Okay.
I want to bring it back to you, our listener. We've explored how AI is being used to tackle methane emissions from cows.
Right.
But what other surprising applications of AI in sustainability can you imagine?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. And it really opens up a whole new realm of possibilities.
Yeah.
You know, we focused on cows and agriculture today, but the potential applications of AI in sustainability extend far beyond the farm.
Right.
But think about the challenges we face in managing our energy resources,
Yeah.
protecting our oceans, conserving biodiversity,
Okay.
and creating more sustainable cities.
Right.
AI can play a crucial role in all of these areas.
What are some specific examples that come to mind for you?
Well, imagine AI-powered systems that can monitor deforestation in real time,
Okay.
alerting authorities to illegal logging activities and helping to protect our forests.
Yeah.
Or AI algorithms that can optimize traffic flow in cities,
Right.
reducing congestion and emissions.
Interesting.
We can even have AI-powered systems that help us design more energy-efficient buildings.
Okay.
Or develop new materials that are more sustainable
Yeah.
and environmentally friendly.
Those are all fantastic examples, and they really highlight the versatility of AI as a tool for sustainability.
Yeah.
It's not just about one specific application. It's about using this technology to address a wide range of interconnected challenges.
Exactly. And what's so exciting is that we're just beginning to scratch the surface of what's possible.
Yeah.
As AI technology continues to evolve and improve, we can expect to see even more innovative and impactful applications in the years to come.
It's a really exciting time to be alive, and it's inspiring to think about the positive changes we can make with the help of this technology.
I agree.
So, as we conclude our deep dive today, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
What other surprising applications of AI and sustainability can you envision?
Yeah.
What problems are you passionate about solving?
Right.
And how could AI help us get there? Keep those creative juices flowing,
I love that.
and let's work together to create a more sustainable future for all.
I think that's a great place to end it.
All right, thanks for joining us.
It was a pleasure.